Hello, everyone, and welcome back to It All Starts With a Wish podcast. My name is Rachel.
And I'm Mark. I was talking to somebody at work today, and she was like, how's it going? And I said...
Like in life? Like, just how's it going?
Yeah, like, how's it going? And I said, I'm very tired. I'm not physically tired, but mentally, I'm very tired.
Emotionally?
Yeah, I'm very drained.
Yeah.
Work has been very draining lately.
Yeah.
And it has made me very tired. But you know what doesn't make me tired?
What?
Walt Disney World. Walt Disney World gets me excited.
We always have enough energy
Makes
to
me
talk
happy.
about Disney World.
Of course we do. How does
so
NASA...
we're going on another Disney trip?
No. How does NASA organize a party?
I don't know. How?
They plan it.
I feel like I've heard that one before. I like that one. But I feel like I've heard that one before.
Folks, you heard it here. I don't get many. I like that ones.
That was a good one. What happens someday if you go to say something and I know it and I get the right answer?
I'll pick a different joke.
So listeners won't even know that I got it right? You're just going to cut it out?
Yep.
How rude.
That's how I roll. If you did the editing, you'd have that power too.
Oh, come on. That's not fair.
The power of the editor.
Whatever.
You know, sometimes when I'm editing these, I have moments of, like, fear. Because oftentimes I will edit these. We may not always record them on a Sunday night before it posts. Like, we try to be good and record them ahead of time, although it doesn't often happen. But we try to be good and record a whole bunch of them. That way, we have them in the hopper, so to speak. But I tend to edit them on Sunday night. And on Sunday nights, after you've gone to bed, after our son's gone to bed, it's quiet, the house is dark. It's tough staying awake to edit these. Like,
so why don't you do it beforehand on a different night?
Because sometimes I don't have the time.
No, I know, but I'm just...
It's just, it doesn't always happen this way, but I'm just saying, a lot of times
like tonight you could do it.
I understand that.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, a lot of times,
yes, the majority of the time it's
editing
late.
them on a Sunday night. And when I edit them on a Sunday night, I tend to be tired. And there's something about our voices that puts me to sleep.
Is that an insult to us?
I have moments. Clearly people listen in the car, and I hope we don't put people to sleep in the car.
I mean, I hope not.
But there's something about listening to the podcast that just puts me right to sleep. And then it takes longer, because then I have to go back and try to figure out
if you actually...
when I was awake. But then sometimes I'm in, like, that weird, like, quasi, like, half awake, half not awake stand. So I worry sometimes that I'm going to post it, and I said something stupid, or, there was something that needed to be cut out that I didn't cut out because I slept. So it's just
raw. It's fine.
And it's there for everybody to hear. I worry about this.
Well, then
so anyways,
people just get the uncut version. It's fine.
Folks, if you ever hear something where we're like, oh, I need to cut that out, and I don't cut it out, or I say something
I'm going to cut it out. Listen, there's all kinds of vloggers that start their sentence and then restart and then smile again and then say the same thing over again.
That's great.
But I'm just saying, like, it's
that's
okay
not
to
so
make
much
mistakes.
My worry is to make a mistake. My worry is that I'm going to say something egregious. And I need to cut it out because I said something just off the cuff that I shouldn't have said.
We'll do it live.
And then, like, I told my joke about Mickey and Minnie.
Oh, yes.
And Goofy being Goofy, like, on air, like, that wouldn't be good,
That's funny, though.
Oh, it's very funny. But you know me, like, I'll say stuff sometimes, and it's, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And then I cut it out, but I'm worried that one day I'll sleep through it and not cut
it's
it.
all right.
We need to hire someone to edit the System World story.
We don't make any money off of this. What are you talking about?
Well,
this is for fun. F-U-N. Fun.
Really puts the F-U in fun, doesn't it, folks?
Really does.
Anyways.
All this will work.
What are we talking about today? because we love it. And we would talk about it anyways. That's the thing. Like, these are the
No, it's
conversations that, like, I think sometimes people with podcasts and stuff, like, podcasters will put on an act or they play a character, so to speak. And they'll really, like, play it up for the sake of the podcast because people listen to it and they like the interactions of the different characters.
Yeah.
And, folks, this is not, like, if you drove in the car with us and we had a Disney conversation, this is how it is.
I mean,
like, we're
I
not
think we tame
hiding
it down
anything.
a little bit. If anything, we tame it down, not amp it up.
It's probably true.
You know what I mean?
But, like, this is how it is. Like, we're not playing a character here.
Yeah.
If you like listening to us because of our rapport or whatever with each other, like, this is how it is. If you think I am grumpy, it's because I am grumpy.
Yeah, he is. No, not. I think I'm grumpier than you sometimes. You just show it more. I hide it. It depends on what we're talking about.
Depends.
It depends. You know? Like snacks. You didn't really want to talk about snacks. I love talking about snacks, so you're going to be a little grumpier.
Yeah,
when it comes
I am going to be. Because snacks are stupid. I'm just joking.
No, they're
I just
not.
don't really snack. That's the thing.
You don't snack. You just eat meals.
That's
you
correct.
Don't snack.
'Cause that's what you're supposed to do.
That's not what you do on vacation in Walt Disney World.
Okay, well, that's different.
Well, I'm just saying.
But a whole
Anyways,
episode on snacks will be ridiculous.
we wanted to start to go over kind of like the ins and outs, so to say, of the different parts of the Walt Disney World vacation and some kind of quick how-tos or tips and tricks on more specific things instead of just being like a broad park or your first day tips and tricks. This is going to be like a little more specific as we narrow down not the lens, I guess the lens.
Sure.
Just zero in a little bit on specific questions.
Things
about
that'll make your day in the park easier.
Yeah. There you go. You always know what to say.
What can I say? I'm good.
Okay. Settle down.
Anyways. So today, one of the things, and I thought about this on actually our first day of our trip, because we actually kind of screwed this up.
We did?
Yes. Your parents had bought tickets. We have Magic Bands, so we don't really think much about this.
Yes.
We linked our tickets to our My Disney Experience account, didn't think much of it, because we should be good with our Magic Bands. Your parents don't use Magic Bands, nor does your sister. And they use their phones
Yeah.
to scan in
And I think a
out
lot of
the
people do
parks.
now. I feel like there is...
But if
well-
you do that, and what we're going to talk about today, right, you need to make sure that things are done ahead of time. That
Yeah.
way, when you're at the gate, we lucked out that your parents showed up late. So we had time to do this while we were waiting for them.
Yeah.
If they had showed up when they were supposed to, we would have been standing at the gate trying to get everything all squared away.
Right.
So, the point here being, there are things that you want to think about when you're entering into a Walt Disney World theme park that's going to make your life easier. So we're going to talk a little bit about how do you get
Or
to
even
the entrance.
before you get there.
How do you get to the entrance gate? Once you arrive at the entrance gate, you're going to have to go through security. What does that process look like? Mm-hmm. Then you're going to have to go through the actual entrance gate and scan your ticket. What does that process look like? So this is all stuff leading up to you actually entering into the park to have a magical time. But you don't want to start your day off with repeated smacks in the face, so to speak. Repeated speed bumps.
Well, especially
that
ones
keep
that
you
you
from getting
can
to the magic.
avoid.
Right.
They are avoidable.
Right.
And people don't think this. A lot of people, including myself, think, oh, it's on your phone, it's technology, it's easier. It does not necessarily mean it is easier. Sometimes there's more hiccups with technology than anything else.
Right.
So
let's start with you arrive in your car or in Disney transportation at a park. What does that process look like? Well, the reality is it's going to look different based upon what transportation you take.
Right.
Disney transportation is always going to get a priority to being closer to the park. This is an advantage to when people ask, why should I stay on property, right? Why should we stay in Walt Disney World at a Walt Disney World Resort Hotel? Well, you're going to get priority when you get dropped off at a park. You have those advantages of Disney transportation. the monorail, the boats, the Skyliner, the buses, of course, which are probably the most well-known and perhaps the most infamous of the forms of transportation.
Infamous, notorious buses.
But you have the advantage of whether you're taking a bus to the Magic Kingdom, whether you're taking the monorail to the Magic Kingdom, whether you're taking a boat to the Magic Kingdom, those forms of transportation are literally going to drop you off at the Magic Kingdom right at the front gate. Mm-hmm. You show up in your own personal vehicle, at Magic Kingdom specifically, you're going to have to park at the Transportation and Ticket Center. So right off the bat, you're parking in the parking lot, and then you have to get across the Seven Seas Lagoon to get to Magic Kingdom. So you can either take a ferry boat, the monorail, you can also take buses, but you have a added form of transportation you're going to need to take to get you to where you're going.
Yeah, it's funny because Magic Kingdom is the only one that has that extra obstacle, besides just being in a very, very large parking lot. And if it's a very busy day and you get there, or you get there midday or later, you could be very well away from the park entrance.
Right, and even at the other parks, Animal Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, right, you may not have to take a boat or a monorail to get to the entrance.
You have to take a tram.
But you're probably going to want to take the tram.
Or you're walking.
Or walking a long distance. Those parking lots are huge.
Well, they're ginormous.
So you have to bear that in mind, that you are facing a good distance to travel either on a tram or by walking.
And that's a good chunk of time to factor in to your arrival time. So if you want to get to the park at a certain time, not only if you're on Walt Disney World property, do you have to think of the lines and stuff in the morning at the buses or other forms of transportation, but you also have to think of, if you're not on Disney property, getting there, the drive time, and then the time it takes you to get from the parking lot to the gate. Because if there's a lot of people, there's still going to be lines for the trams. There's gonna be lines everywhere.
There are. And bear in mind too, right? Every single parking lot you're gonna have to pay at the parking gate. So depending on when you're getting there, right, you may sit in traffic for a little while at the gate to go through to the parking lot. So there are things that impede you from getting to the entrance in the first place.
There are smaller checkpoints in order to get to the major checkpoint.
And another important thing to keep in mind, if you're parking your own car, those parking lots, again, I will highlight this, are huge. You need to pay attention to where you park. Okay? Each section will be labeled. You need to pay attention to this.
No, that stresses me out. I don't think I could remember where. I would have to take a picture. I would take a picture.
And it happens a lot. Like, they literally have cast members who drive people around in golf carts. I've seen this before. They will drive you around in a golf cart to try to find your car if you lose it. But you don't want to have to worry about that. So you want to make sure you are clocking exactly where your car is parked. Now, there is on the My Disney Experience app a Locate My Car option. Supposedly, it works well for some people. I've heard other people say it doesn't work at all. So, it may work for you. It may not work for you.
That's a hard, I don't know. That's hard. I know that a lot of cars, like smart cars now too, like on my phone, I can see on my, like, navigation, like maps, it will say, like, my parked car. So, like, some cars have that and some phones have that, others do not. And that's not always accurate. Sometimes it will show you a roundabout area to where it is, but not an exact area. But yeah, try to take a picture of, it's usually the name of a character or a letter associated with a character that is, like, there's a picture of the character with it and then a number. Like, for example, in Animal Kingdom, I know there's, like, a Simba one. Or, like, there's, like, a Pumbaa and then, like, 10. So you know you're in P10, but, you know, it kind of matches, like, with that park.
So on the car locator, too, right, it's worth noting that when you go on the app, right, you'll have an option for the car locator. If you click on the little hamburger menu thing on the bottom of your screen and you scroll down, getting around is one of the options, and car locator is that. You can manually enter your vehicle location, or you can save your vehicle location. So that's something you're going to want to do on the app when you arrive, right? It's not going to do you any good if you don't save your location or you don't manually enter your vehicle location when you arrive.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't
keep that in
magically find your
mind.
car. You have to tell it where it is.
Keep that in mind, that if you want to use that, right, that's something that you want to do when you arrive.
Disney
at the
knows a
park.
lot of things about your whereabouts, but your car is not one of them.
But again, this is a reason why you stay on property.
This is true.
You avoid all of these problems if you just stay on property, because you're getting that prioritized transportation, whether it's any form of transportation, the buses, the boats, the Skyliner, the monorail. You're always going to get dropped off, maybe not right on top of the entrance, but you're going to be closer than everybody else is. You get that head start going in.
Yeah. So once you have used your time management skills and mapped out how you're getting there and what time you want to get there, you'll arrive at your first checkpoint, maybe your second or third if you drove in.
Follow the signs, folks.
Follow the signs. And there's plenty of cast members telling you where to go.
Yeah.
So if you
And follow the
are
crowds.
lost, yeah, that's true.
Because most people who go know where they're going. So if you show up and it's your first time in Animal Kingdom, and you're like, I have no idea
Just
where the
walk
park
where
entrance
everybody
is.
else is walking.
Just follow the other people. They're all heading towards the entrance too.
Usually we say don't be a follower, but in Disney World you can.
In this case,
Unless you're going to the right in Magic Kingdom first thing in the morning.
right, don't do
Then
that.
don't do that. But your first checkpoint that you're going to get to is security. And security is basically mapped out into strollers and non-strollers. So, easy divide. We always split up on our last trip. It was either Mark or me with our son in the stroller, and then everybody else kind of went through. The interesting thing about security now, if you haven't been in a while, is you walk through these metal detector things. Not every single person has to get their bag checked.
Correct.
Unlike how it was even like pre-COVID, where no matter what, everyone had to look through your bag. The only things that are actually getting looked through without, you don't have to set anything off, are the strollers. Right. They're going to look through all of those things because the metal in the strollers, obviously it makes sense. It's always going to be set off. So those are the only things that you're really going to have to kind of take your kids out. Sometimes they can actually sit in there. If it's a scissor stroller, sometimes they don't mind because, you know, there's really not many compartments in there. But kids are going to have to come out. You're going to have to open all the bags, all the pockets, all that fun stuff.
On the stroller.
On the stroller. If you do have a bag, you're going to leave your stroller with them after they've checked it out. You're going to take your child, if you have one, with the stroller, and you're going to walk around to the other line. They will let you, you don't have to wait in the line again. You just kind of go through another metal detector that's designed for that line of strollers, and then you walk through that detector. And then the people who didn't have the stroller have to wait for you on the other side.
Right. This is so much more efficient than what it used to be.
No, it really is.
People waiting with bags and all that stuff. Now you literally just walk through the metal detectors, and people just, you have to walk through single file, but the line keeps moving. They don't stop.
Yeah,
you
they
just
don't
walk through it. You don't take the backpack off. You
Nope.
do not need to take stuff out of the bag unless you know that something's a problem. Then you may want to take it out of the bag ahead of time and hold it in front of you. But aside from that, if you don't know anything's a problem, most things, as long as it's not something illegal, it's not going to set it off.
Yeah.
So just keep the backpack on and just follow the crowd. They have strategically now at busy points in the day, too, security staff members who have microphones on, and they will direct you towards shorter their job is to keep you going towards the shorter lines. That way you keep moving.
Yeah.
If they tell you, folks, go right down this way, there's a shorter line, follow them. Don't get in the longer line.
Yeah.
People
But
always
it's right here. No,
people
just follow
always
them.
get in the longer line. They always will choose. It doesn't matter the grocery
Which is
store,
really odd.
a theme park. People see a long line and they just want to jump in it. No, look.
Or the first
because
line that they come
probably
to.
have multiple stations
Yeah.
open that you can walk through. And when you arrive there, just as Rachel described, you'll usually have to split. The strollers will take a little bit longer if there is a line for the strollers. But everybody at the end of the day is going to have to walk through that metal detector, whether you're with the stroller or not. The stroller won't go through the metal detector. You do with your bags and your kids. Everything else, just the stroller stays to the side, and they'll just look through that.
Yeah.
But so much more efficient.
The only one that is a little glitchy as far as security goes that I feel like I have more hang-ups at them is Magic Kingdom. And that's because the monorail passes by. So there's been a few times where we've gone to Magic Kingdom and they've told us to not walk through the metal detector. And we're kind of like, okay. And a few seconds after
stop.
that, no, just to stop.
They say stop.
They say stop for 1 second. And we're like, all right. And then the monorail goes by. The magnets in the monorail are going to set off the metal detectors. Or they could glitch it a little bit. So other times they don't tell us to stop. And you just keep walking through.
Yeah.
So
if
they
you're
might
not directed
ask you
to stop, you just walk right through the thing. You just keep moving. It's the best part about it.
That's the only line
no
where
lines, no waiting, unless you have a stroller. No lines, no waiting, right through. If, for some reason, you have something in your backpack that flags, then you are going to have your bag checked.
Yeah.
So the cast member, the security cast member will point at you and will say, please go into the line with the bags. At that point, you may have to wait a little while. Depends on how busy they are, how many people are in line.
How big people's bags are.
But then you're going to have to get in line and wait to have your bag checked by a person.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen often, but there are certain things that people carry. Sometimes the machine just glitches, right? It happens. There's also sometimes where there's certain types of things. Battery packs tend to set off the machine because they're dense. They kind of come across as a bomb-like object. So they're going to want to check that. So,
I mean, there's been times where I've been flagged and I was literally only holding my phone.
Yeah.
So I go over, I don't have a bag, but you are metal detected with that
give you a little wand.
sweep thing. Yeah, the wand thing. And then they're like, all right, you can go.
Yeah.
It was just a glitch or something, but they're just going to check you anyway.
If you do get flagged and you need your bag checked, things to keep in mind. I think we've talked about this a little bit with like packing a park bag and stuff like that. The fewer pockets, the better, man. Some of these people go in there with like these utility...
Or like they have a bag and then they have like 17 other bags inside of that bag. They have to open every single zipper and button.
All the pockets.
Everything.
All the bags. Everything
all
needs to be
opened.
opened.
Needs to be opened. So just don't have that many bags in there.
Well, and don't like use like a hiking backpack or an army like tactical backpack. Like you don't need one of those.
Yeah, it's a lot of pockets.
All those pockets, they're going to want to go through every single one of them. And all that's going to do is it's going to slow you down and piss off everybody behind you who has to wait while they go through it, okay? Simple park bags, the best the ones with 2 or 3 zippers max.
Yeah.
That way it's super easy. Unzip those zippers ahead of time.
Yeah,
that
when
way
you're
it's
waiting
ready.
before they're looking in your bag, just start unzipping everything.
Because they're going to make you unzipper it. So you might as well be ready and speed up the process. Have everything unzippered, have it ready for them. You'll present them the bag. They'll go through it. They'll tell you it's okay. You'll grab it, and then you can go on your merry way. But again, this is much easier when you have a simple bag. No tactical bags. Don't have 50 zippers. Don't put 10 bags inside of your bag. Keep it simple.
Yep.
When packing your park bag. You will thank me when you don't have to wait a long time in the security line.
So, next checkpoint.
But by and large, just kind of in summation of the security process, this is so much more efficient than it used to be. Because before, like you said, everybody had to get the bag checked.
Wait.
And that would take forever when everybody
plus
has
strollers,
to have
plus that, yeah. And it's nice too that if you are going with older kids and stuff, you don't have to wait in line with the strollers. You just walk right past them.
Right.
Like they separate that so you don't even have to wait behind someone.
As long as you don't get flagged, you're good to go. You can walk right in. Keep in mind, we did a thing about like banned objects and make sure you don't have a banned object. That will slow you down at security if you try to bring like a knife or something into Walt Disney World. So please don't do that.
Yes.
You will get stopped and they will confiscate whatever it is that you brought with you. So make sure you don't have any of those on you for whatever reason.
Not do that.
I think sometimes though, right, legitimately, like people, I myself will carry a knife on myself sometimes. You know, it's good to have in case you need it. Like,
or even it's like one of those Swiss Army knives, right?
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
like,
has a bunch of different things on
like,
it.
And you don't mean anything by it,
Yep.
and it's just something you put in your pocket every day because you just bring it with you in case you need it for something, right? Kind of like the Boy Scout, like always prepared kind of thing. Don't
do that.
Do that when you're. Yeah, I did that at TSA once.
LOL.
I had didn't realize it. It was my hiking backpack. I had a knife in it, and
bye knife.
yeah, it got confiscated.
They took it.
And I was like, I didn't even realize that was in there. because it was
They were
just
like,
in there.
likely story.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
It was just in there.
But
Much easier. And my last point.
Oh my gosh.
Last point here.
I'm trying to move on here, people. And we just keep going.
Last point. They're not trying to be jerks. Please be kind to security cast members. I know it can be aggravating. I know it can irritate you if you have to go get your bag checked, or if you have to wait in a line to get your bag checked or something like that, and you think it's wrong that you got flagged or whatever. I understand. They're not trying to be jerks. They're trying to keep everybody safe. So please, a lot of times people be very rude to security cast members for whatever reason. Don't be rude. Okay, they just have a job to do. They're trying to keep everybody safe. Please be kind.
And, we'd all be not very happy if, for some reason, they didn't take such measures and then people got hurt. So then we'd be mad about that, too. So, you can't have it both ways.
Right.
They're there to do a job. All
be
right.
kind to your security cast members.
Moving on to your next line. Or your next checkpoint. Is your actual ticket. You're actually getting into the park. Good for you. You've made your transportation journey, you've made your security journey, and you have finally made it to your ticket entrance. There's going to be more lines. Please listen to other people telling you where there are shorter lines, because there are a plethora.
And look, at certain times of the day there may not be a plethora. But,
yeah, but
if you're there at
usually in
park
the morning,
opening, they're going to
plethora.
have a ton of open things. Don't just go to the first line you see. Look.
Move down the path. It stretches from one point to the other point. No one is getting in that park the whole span of the way. And go to an open one.
Nobody's
you see an open
getting
one?
in.
Huh?
Nobody's getting into
No.
the park.
Not unless you scan your ticket. With all the scanning devices that are in there.
This is where a video would be great, because Rachel's arms are just going crazy and nobody could see it
All
besides
the
me.
way across. Big. Anyways.
So pick the short lines is the moral of the story. Don't just go to the first line you see.
Here it is.
These people tend to flock to the first lines.
Yeah. I'm just going to go straight forward. And it's
Look
nope,
for those shorter lines and you'll thank me
go
later.
right or left, and there's probably more. Here it is.
Have your ticket.
Please get your ticket ready. If it's a magic band, then you're good. It's on your wrist.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. If you have your kids they are not wearing it, make sure you grab them. Because sometimes they're not going to be wearing them, and you either have them on yourself, which you can do, or you have them on strung onto a bag or in a pocket somewhere. Just get them before you get to the actual scanning process.
Yep. If you're using an old-fashioned card ticket, pull it out of
Have
your
it ready.
wallet or wherever you have it.
If it is on your phone, here is where you need to do some planning beforehand. Make sure you have all of the tickets added to your wallet from the My Disney Experience account for each person if you're using one phone, or each person on their phone can get into the My Disney Experience app and download their ticket to their wallet.
Right. This is not like when you open your room and you go on your My Disney Experience app and that's how you know.
Yeah.
The ticket needs to be added to your Apple or your Android wallet. That is a process, not a huge process. No. It's not difficult, but that's a process that you should do before you arrive at the park.
You don't want to be that person.
No.
Don't be that person that goes, oh, I don't know where my ticket is.
And then you're holding up the whole dang line. Nobody likes that person.
People are going to be angry.
I don't like that person. Don't be that person.
But yeah, so just be prepared.
Nothing's worse than when you see a short line, you get in it, and then the jamoke in front of you can't figure out how to use the dang thing.
Oh, you want to know something even better? When they keep using the wrong finger. They're like, what finger did you use to scan? They're like, I don't know, dude. Okay, here we go. You're going to scan whatever it is, your phone, your Apple Watch, your Magic Band, your card ticket. You're going to scan it. You're going to pick one finger. Preferably your pointer finger.
Don't forget your finger.
Easy. But remember what hand you used.
And don't forget what finger.
And don't forget what finger it is. You're going to use that every single time.
I use my index on my right hand.
Same. So, just remember, and don't switch it up. It only knows one fingerprint, and that is the one that you choose the first time you scan into any park on your vacation.
Right.
Just remember it. Please remember it.
Right. But that is key, though. When you scan your ticket, you are going to have to present the finger on a little scanny thing that's next to the ticket scanny thing.
The Mickey scan it and the finger scan it.
And you want to use the same finger your entire trip.
Now listen,
it will link
there's
to
going
that
to be
finger.
glitches because we have gone the first few days trip fine, and then all of a sudden our magic band isn't working. Or something weird. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. You just do your best. Sometimes glitches are going to happen. The cast members standing there have iPads where you can scan your thing on there and they can manually check you in. So don't panic if you don't have a paper version or anything. If you have a ticket, they're able to find it. But if you do take these precautions and you kind of plan out in your head ahead of time, should be easy sailing.
Right. Be ready ahead of time.
Be ready.
Make sure you link your tickets to your My Disney Experience account. You can have your Magic Band, and that's great.
And you can have your ticket.
Don't have your park tickets.
But if it's not linked
your
to
Magic
your
Band
reservation,
ain't going to work. Make sure you've added, if you're using your phone, to your Apple Wallet or your Android Wallet, your tickets. You want to make sure that they're pulled up. Don't be that person who walks up to the gate and doesn't already have it pulled up and has to fumble on their phone to try to find their Apple Wallet and pull up the dang ticket.
Usually very easy. You just double-click the side on the iPhone.
Be ready to go.
Ding, ding.
And always, whether it's the phone, whether it's the card, whether it's the Magic Band, you hold it up to the Mickey that is on the scan thing.
Leave it there.
Leave it there.
Don't pull it away yet.
It's going to circle. It's going to go do. Then,
put
your chosen finger.
The chosen one.
On the screen next to it. And keep it there.
Don't just
until it
just
turns
tap it. You got to keep
green.
it there until it buzzes and blinks and makes sound for you.
It will probably turn green for most people. If you have a Magic Band Plus, it'll turn purple and it'll speak to you. And it will say, "Welcome home."
All right.
Thanks, Mickey.
For those of you who have been following, Mark has still not found his Magic Band.
I have not. But I have my new Magic Band now, so it doesn't really matter, I guess.
That's all right. We'll find it by the next time.
It's a saga.
I'm sure. Wait, you need to input the sound. The Magic Band sound.
I don't know if I can do that.
I'm gonna give it to you.
I don't know if people heard that because of all the background noise. But you get that.
Just cut it then.
Doon, doon.
Ding, doo.
And then if you have Magic Band Plus, it'll go, "Welcome home."
That's not good. Anyways.
It will blink purple and green if you have a Magic Band Plus. Other things, it will just blink green. If it blinks blue, that means it didn't scan properly. Something's going on. The cast member standing at the gate, there's always people standing there. They'll ask you to scan again. Do the same process. You'll keep doing the same process. If you have another problem, they'll raise their hand and another cast member will come over and hopefully fix the problem.
Yep.
But be patient with the process.
Be patient.
But be ready.
Like we've said, technology is great. It makes things a lot easier. However, there are glitches sometimes. We noticed that on our last trip, Mark, your mom, has an older Magic Band. We don't know if this is true or not. But because it is, over 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
We're thinking that it might have given her more problems over this trip because the battery might be dying.
Probably.
They don't live forever.
That's
so
correct.
If you have an older Magic Band...
They live for a long time.
But, things are going to get pushed out, things are going to die, and they don't sell those types of Magic Bands anymore. Yeah. It's only...
The Plus.
The Pluses now. So, if you do have to upgrade... I still wish they got Magic Bands for free still. Even if you didn't... Just give us those ones again. You still have to buy the Pluses. That's fine. But they should just give us the rinky-dink ones,
Nothing's free.
Remember when we used to get that package?
No, I do.
It was so fun.
It was
fun.
Like
a month before our trip. Here we go. We got our Magic Bands in the mail. They all had our names on them.
Oh, yeah. It was nice.
Good times.
Yeah.
Now...
It's taking all the fun away from us.
I know.
I'm just joking.
I guess it's a waste of materials, I guess.
Yeah, but it's nice.
You know how many of those Magic Bands I have in a drawer?
A lot.
A lot. And they're all the same color because I just picked the same color every single time. That was before you could reuse them. Or could you always reuse them?
I think you could always reuse them. Yeah, because you could use those old ones that you have still. I think they work as long as there's still a battery. in them that works, they would work.
Yeah, probably not anymore. But hopefully this was helpful.
Well, I mean,
are you
after
not
that,
done?
Enjoy yourself.
Oh, last step. Enjoy the park. There you go. Start to finish. And that's just your entry into the day. So,
other things to bear in mind, especially drinks can go into the park, right? Alcoholic beverages, no. And remember, too, when you're exiting the park, alcoholic beverages cannot exit the park.
yes, alcohol, no.
Right.
If you are leaving Epcot
But it's not like the TSA and you can't
to
bring any
World
drinks.
Showcase,
You can bring drinks in the
yes, they are going to make you chug your drink. If you still want it, you don't have to chug it. But if you still don't want to throw away your drink, you're going to chug it before you leave Epcot. Oh my gosh, I saw this really funny meme, and I'm going to just describe, well, it was like a reel, but I'm going to describe it because I thought it was really funny. I don't know what movie it's from, but this is two older men, and the caption at the top is, when you've gone on every ride in Epcot, and it's only 10 a.m., and it's just these two old men. And he goes, so, what do you want to do? And the other guy goes, I don't know. Want to get drunk? I feel like that's Epcot in a nutshell. As an adult, of course. But I just thought it was funny. I don't necessarily agree that you could do all the rides and then be done at 10 a.m. Maybe if you bought lightning lanes for everything, you could. But I doubt it. But I guess Mark didn't think that was very funny. This is how you feel after I don't laugh at dad jokes, huh?
It is. I'm letting you.
I'll start fake laughing.
Yeah. Huh. Let you sit in it a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyways, folks, hopefully this episode makes for a much smoother entry into any of the Walt Disney World theme parks that you're visiting. So use this
knowledge to your advantage.
Use this knowledge to your advantage for sure. And don't be that person
that guy
standing there fumbling around looking for their dang ticket, holding everybody else up when you could have had the ticket ready. Follow us on our social media accounts. We are on YouTube now too. Remember that. You can listen to us on YouTube as well as all of your favorite podcasting platforms. Send us an email if you have any questions, comments, ideas for podcast episodes. Send them to us at startswithawish.podcast@gmail.com. And remember, folks, it all starts with a wish. We'll see you real soon.
Bye.